Yo, 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 what's good? 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 You already know we had to go live. You already know we had to go live. We had to go live for this one, man. Make sure y'all let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat, man. Make sure y'all let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat, man. Make sure y'all let me tap in. Tap in. Let me know where y'all are coming in from. Tap in, man. Let's get into this live real quick. Oh my God. Oh my God. Did y'all just see that game? Let's get into this live. Let's give it like 2 more minutes here. We're gonna get into this live. Let me send out these notifications real quick. I'm absolutely speechless right now. So let me send out these notifications real quick. We got to talk about this. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Make sure y'all check in. Compton in the building. I see you. What else we got? Yeah, Sun is different. Sun is different. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up. Make sure y'all tap in. We're gonna get into this in a minute. Let me just post this real quick to the IG so people can join the live. Just a second here. Let me copy this. We're gonna get it going in the next 30 seconds or so. Let me just post this real quick to the Instagram. By the way, if y'all are not following me on IG, my handle is CTABANZ. Let me just post this real quick. Shoots 80%. What's good? What's good? Give me like 30 seconds. Let me post this real quick. 80% and huge Clippers win. I hate to do lives when I'm not prepared, but this is such a last minute thing. Let me just do this. Follow live stream below. Let me just post this. Okay. Let me get that. A lot of people be complaining that they be missing these lives, so let me just share with them so they at least could see it. Okay, cool. All right, we did that. All right, so let us get into this game. First of all, this was probably the best game we've had in the playoffs so far. And this may be the most interesting series in terms of great basketball being played. First game came down to overtime and they lost by 2 points. Second game, it came down to regulation, but it was a 3-point game. So in terms of it being competitive, this is probably the most competitive first round matchup we got going. Obviously, we just had a pretty competitive game between the Knicks and the Pistons. Going into this game, let me tell you how I felt. I felt more confident in game 1 than I did in game 2. But if y'all remember in some of these videos that we've done, one of the things that pissed me off in that last game in game 1 was the fact that the Clippers did not feature Kawhi Leonard enough in the offense. And they got into this nonsense of it's an equal opportunity offense. James Harden can score. If it's Zubac can score. Kawhi Leonard can score. If Norman Powell is hot, Norman Powell can score. And I'm like, that's just not going to work. That is just not going to work. There has to be a hierarchy in this offense because if Kawhi doesn't have a consistent rhythm throughout the 48 minutes, come the fourth quarter, he won't be able to deliver. And in a lot of those plays in the fourth quarter, if you watch that game, Kawhi Leonard was barely in rhythm and he was just standing in the corner. So I was so pissed off, and a lot of that was coaching, and a lot of that was Ty Lue's fault. So to start this game, as I was listening to the announcers of the game, they were like, Kawhi Leonard said he has to be more aggressive. He's going to be more aggressive. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, he gets it. It can't be one of these things where he comes into the game and he's just like going with the flow. Nah. So what I liked from the jump was that Kawhi Leonard was extremely aggressive, and that set the tone. And to me, If the Clippers want to be successful, the hot hand needs to be Kawhi, not James Harden. That's just me. James Harden can have a good game here and there, but if it's going to be one of those things where James Harden is the leading scorer, it's just not going to work. Let's be for real. The whole strategy has been, let's keep Kawhi healthy. It has not been, let's keep James Harden healthy. Kawhi is clearly their best player, so he needs to be the one that gets featured. Let's get into this game first of all. I want to give a big shout out to Ivica Zubac, who finished that game with 16 points, 12 rebounds, a steal, and only 2 turnovers, and forced Nikola Jokic to play some semblance of defense. The improvement of Ivica Zubac is what's also helping the Clippers this series. Hey, guys, let's try to get these likes up to 100 likes. The improvement of Ivica Zubac is also filling up for the gap of Paul George and all of these guys being gone. So Ivica Zubac played a very pivotal role. I also want to give a shout out, and it's going to surprise y'all, to Ben Simmons. In the minutes that Ivica Zubac wasn't on the floor, Ben Simmons was actually playing pretty good. He was pushing the pace, and he was guarding the pick and roll with Ivica Zubac and Jamal Murray very well. So I'm gonna give some love over there. Let's get to Kawhi Leonard. This dude scored 39 points on 79% shooting from the field, 57% shooting from the three, 100% shooting from the floor, with 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and only 1 turnover. Let me tell y'all this. Of all of the playoff games I have seen in terms of individual performances, this was one of the greatest performances I have ever seen. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or nothing like that, or exaggerate or jump out the window, nothing like that. In terms of a performance, this is one of the most impressive performances I have ever seen with my eyes. Ever. I'm going to tell y'all why. Number one, it's a playoff game. So whenever you have a big game in the playoffs, that's already impressive. Number one. Number two, the circumstances. The Clippers basically put their entire hope and faith in Kawhi Leonard being healthy. This is the 6th season, if I'm not mistaken, with Kawhi in LA. Kawhi somehow was able to be healthy all throughout the season, or when he got back, and all of the pressure from the organization was on him because they're looking at him like, lead us. We believe you can do it. We've seen you do it. Make this thing pay off. So he's dealing with that internal pressure. You look at the external pressure with everything that has been said about, oh, this has been a disaster for the Clippers, them trading for all of these things. You look at what happened the last 2 years in the playoffs. 2 years ago, he gets injured in game 2 or whatever it was. He couldn't come back. Last year, he gets injured right before the playoffs. All of those things are going on. Then you look at the circumstances of what's at stake in this series. Because if they go down 0-2, it puts all the pressure on them in the world and get to win game 3 and game 4. They go into Denver, one of the hardest places to play in the NBA, not just because of the crowd, but because of the altitude. He walks into the building in a game 2, a must-win scenario, a game that you have to have. And not only does he play well, he has one of the most efficient stat lines from a perimeter player I have ever seen. I don't think, and I could be wrong, there are more than a handful of performances 30-plus point game performances in the playoffs where a player shoots 80% from the field, 80%, 57% from the three, and 100% from the floor. He had a stat line of 80, 57, 100. I have never seen a game like that. Never. Not by Kobe, not by LeBron, not by Jokic. Obviously, big men are going to shoot a higher percentage because they're closer to the basket. I'm talking about perimeter guys. I've never seen it. I have never seen it. Never. And I've watched a lot of playoff games. This MFer could, at one point, I think he was, how many shots did he take? At one point, he took, 19 shots. I think at one point, he was like 14 of 16. 14 of 16. My son said, son is twerking. Don't worry about me. You need to worry about Anthony Edwards coming for you guys in game 2. Don't worry about me. Let me have my moment. Let me have my moment. Y'all can't remember the last time I did a live on Kawhi Leonard. Please let me have my moment. Y'all usually got Shannon Sharp and all of these guys twerking it up whenever the Lakers win, and all of these guys, they for LeBron and all of that every single week. Son, let me have my moment. The twerking will be back on tomorrow for you dudes, but tonight, let me have my moment. Please. Let me live for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Just let me live. Anyway. Yo, this right here if the Clippers beat the Nuggets, first of all, let me say this. I don't think this round 1 is going to go the way we expected, at least in some of those series in the Western Conference. I think OKC is going to advance after they beat the Memphis Grizzlies by 51 points. So OKC is going to advance. I think Golden State is going to advance, although I pick Houston. I'm not so sure about that Wolves-Lakers series. I'm not so sure. There will be an upset in round 1. There will be an upset in round 1. And I think that upset will probably be the Lakers-Wolves. I could be wrong, or that Warriors Rockets. But let me tell y'all something. If this is the Kawhi we are going to get for this playoff run, I feel comfortable saying that on any given night in a playoff game, the Clippers have arguably the best player on the floor on any given night. Don't forget, Kawhi was on the floor with Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the floor in the world. He absolutely is. But nobody watching that game would say, man, Nikola Jokic is leaps in the he's heads and shoulders above everybody else. Nobody would say that. As a matter of fact, watching that game, you would say to yourself, both of these guys are on the same level. I don't think there's any NBA player in a given playoff game, when they're on their game, we can definitively say that they are much better than Kawhi. I don't think there's nobody. Not Jason Tatum, not Luka Doncic, not SGA, not none of these dudes. He is a top 5 player in the NBA when he's healthy. And I think he's a top 3 performer in the playoffs when he's healthy. Top 3. This loss is on Jokic, 50% at the line and 7 turnovers. Appreciate the super chat to G. Benson. Jokic, they were pretty much double teaming him all game. They were I think at one point they said Jokic only attempted like 2 shots in the paint. I think Jokic, most of his shots came from the 3. Let me see. Jokic attempted 16 shots. Half of them came from the 3-point line. he took 8 threes. So that tells you something about the Clippers deep. They also had a great game plan schematically on the defensive end of the floor to limit him or basically turn him into a passer and a three-point shooter. And I think what the Clippers said is we can't allow him to do all three. We can't allow him to hit us up from the paint, hit us, beat us with the pass, and then knock down threes. No. So we're going to take something away. You can't take away his passing ability. Now, yes, he had 7 turnovers. It wasn't a perfect game. But he did have a triple-double for whatever that's worth. And if you look at if you look at the box score and the plus minus, as a matter of fact, when he was on the floor, it was 0. So he wasn't necessarily helping the team, but he really wasn't hurting the team. And there were other players on the floor that had a negative plus minus. Now, I don't want to make too much of plus minus. I don't want to make excuses for him. 7 turnovers is way too damn much. But watching the game, you also got to give that Clipper defense some credit. Although 7 turnovers is crazy. Right? It's still crazy. But this ain't really about Jokic. This is about Kawhi Leonard, a player that I've been supporting since 2017. I've been supporting Kawhi Leonard. That almost made me stop liking basketball in terms of a favorite player after the last few years of what happened. And this year, I said I'm not going to talk about him for the whole season. That's what I said, and I rarely did. But now he's given me a reason to talk about him. And if he beats the Nuggets, if they beat the Nuggets, I think the Clippers could beat anybody. But I'm still very worried about the Oklahoma City Thunder because I think they're for real. I think the Thunder are for real. Why is that damn Ben Simmons still in the NBA at all? Well, Ben Simmons is there. Ben Simmons is there. I thought he played a pretty decent game. He hit a shot. He looked aggressive. He played some great defense. He was able to push the pace in the limited minutes that he played. How many minutes did Ben Simmons play? Ben Simmons played 8 minutes. Yeah, he did his thing in 8 minutes. Norman Powell. Let me talk about Norman Powell for a second. I got to say, I've been a bit surprised at Norman Powell, given the fact that before the All-Star break, we were making an argument of whether or not Norman Powell could be an All-Star. And ever since the All-Star break, I think he got hurt. Then he began to lose a lot of his rhythm. So Norman Powell really hasn't been himself. And even for the majority of this game, Norman Powell didn't play well. So it felt really good to see Norman Powell actually start making shots in the second half. And I think they needed that. Let me talk about James Harden. James Harden is an excellent basketball player, but I don't like a scenario in which he's the closer. If you look at the second to last possession, the second to last possession, Harden had the ball, and I'm watching the game, and I'm saying to myself, why is Harden taking the last shot? Why does he have the ball in his hand? He's not the hot hand. Give it to the best player on the floor. And then Kawhi bailed him out after I think he missed the shot, and he was able to get the steal. But in terms of performances so far, these playoffs, this has been the best performance these playoffs so far. This has been the best performance of any player these playoffs so far. Shooting 80% from the field, 80%, 57% from 3. Now, I've seen players shoot 60% from the field. I've seen that. 66%, maybe 70%, but 80% in a playoff game? I haven't seen that. Now, I already gave Zubac some love. I gave him some love at the beginning of the live. I gave him some love. I thought they had a balanced attack. I think Coach Ty Lue did a very good job in that game, and they found a way to contain is a big word, but found a way to deal when Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray hit some big shots. He had 23 points in the game. Aaron Gordon played well in the game as well, although he didn't shoot particularly well from the floor overall. He only shot 38%. Michael Porter Jr. Hit some pretty big shots for them. I mean, looking at the box score here, the Nuggets have 14-3. So look, The Nuggets hit 14 threes. The Clippers had 13. So they were even there. In terms of free throws attempted, the Clippers attempted 12 free throws to the Nuggets 22 free throws. But I think it's turnovers. Yes. I think the difference in this game is turnovers. The Nuggets had 20 turnovers, and the Clippers had 11. If you remember game 1, the Clippers had 20. So I think turnovers gave the Clippers a chance to stay in this game. Turnovers. And there was some pretty wild calls for Nikola Jokic at certain points in that game where I was like, what? Now, I got to give that ref credit for not calling the offensive foul on James Harden when Nikola Jokic flopped. And when the play happened in real time, I didn't think he flopped until he was standing up and I saw Dante Jones come off the bench and he said something to the Joker. He's like, stop flopping. And then they went to the replay, and I was like, "Oh my God, this dude flopped." So credit to the referee for not bailing out Nikola Jokic in that game. Another person he ain't bail out was James Harden. You know that James Harden ain't getting them ticky-tack calls no more. So to me, man, I wanted to give some love to Kawhi Leonard this game. That was an incredible performance, one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. One of the greatest performances under the circumstances I have ever. Somebody said podcast P would be, Paul George played himself. Let's be for real. Paul George played himself. He did. He played himself. The first thing he did when he played himself was when he asked for that no trade clause. That was the first thing to let me know that son is cuckoo. Then he wanted like a supermax extension. That was the second thing. Then when he went to Philly and he wasn't playing well, but he was still doing his podcast, I knew that something was wrong with Paul George. You can't be that tone deaf. You can't be. You can't be playing in a new town. They just gave you a $200 million contract, and people are saying that you have more podcast episodes than games played. Paul George played himself. But the fact of the matter is, Paul George had to go. Another person that had to go was Russell Westbrook. I'm not hating on Russell Westbrook, nothing like that, but he had to go too. I said it at the end of last season. That big four that they had, the two players that needed to go was Paul George, because of what I saw from him in a bubble in 2020, how he choked it up all over the place, vomited all over his shirt, his jersey, and Russell Westbrook. Does Russell Westbrook give you a lot of energy? Yes, he does. Can he push the pace? Yes, he can. But he's not reliable. He's not a reliable shooter. He cannot space the floor. So I said they got to break this whatever it is, not trio, but whatever you call it. And I said those are the two guys that needed to go. Shout out to the Pull-Up, the Pull-Up Podcast. The Pull-Up Podcast, who works with the Clippers. He was pretty upset that they let go of Paul George because he was like, well, Kawhi Leonard is not there and they need somebody to fill the seats and fill in. And I'm like, no, Paul George had to go. He had to go. Can you imagine if Paul George was playing with Kawhi Leonard right now? Can you imagine if Paul George was taking up a roster spot and then he got hurt and the Clippers would still be paying him $170 million to just basically sit up there and just take up space and then be doing podcast episodes about why he's injured? Like, let's be for real. So like James Harden said, or was it James Harden or Norman Powell, addition by subtraction. Paul George had to go. And Paul George will never win a championship. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing that they're looking to trade him again. Again. Yeah, Ty Lue did a fantastic job in that game. He did a fantastic job with his coaching, but also give some love to Jeff Van Gundy. Some of their defensive schemes were incredible on Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic attempted 16 shots, 8 of them were threes. Powell came on later on in the game. I already gave love to Zubac. I think Zubac is probably the biggest X factor for this team. The improvement of Ivica Zubac as a player, both offensively, defensively, and his fundamentals, I think is a difference maker for the Clippers. Even in this series, Ivica Zubac is not Nikola Jokic, but on some level, he could force Nikola Jokic to play defense because of his ability to score the ball. He's also a defensive presence. He's also improved as a rebounder. He's improved. Before in the past, you would hit Ivica Zubac with a pass in the lane. He would bring the ball down, and the defenders would swipe at him. Now he's stopped. Like, at least he's limited that thing of putting the ball on the floor where they could swipe at him. If he does it, he's really quick and he goes up. So he's really improved, and he's having a career year. He's having a career year. I think Ivica Zubac is just as important as James Harden. I believe that. Because what he gives them on both sides of the floor, and he gives them another threat in that offense for having two players that can post in Kawhi and Ivica Zubac. Somebody said Flopic got utterly embarrassed. Who's Flopic? Is it Nikola Jokic that he's calling Flopic? Who is that? What that's supposed to mean? Refs didn't go for the flops on both sides. On both sides. So look, folks, that was a hell of a game. Kawhi Leonard just put forward. I thought that 38-point game that he had against the Phoenix Suns 2 years ago was crazy, and it was. But this was more impressive because he was going against champs, and his efficiency was off the chart. His efficiency, I've never seen it before. Remember, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. I've never seen a game where Kobe Bryant shot 80% in the playoff game. I've never seen it. I've never seen a game where LeBron James shot 80%. I've never seen it. And the craziest part was they were all jump shots. That's what made it even more impressive. We're not talking about drives to the basket. LeBron fans, and some of y'all are watching this, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't feel like LeBron is skilled, because a lot of his shots come at the rim. So the degree of difficulty is easier given his size and the physicality that he plays with. Is it a skill? Yes, but it's an attribute that's only really unique to him. LeBron has a play style that's really unique to him. But whenever we as NBA fans see jump shooters shooting the hell out of the ball, it's just more impressive to us because of the degree of difficulty, and they're making these shots further away from the basket, which means they're harder shots to make. So watching this dude shoot 80% from the field on jumpers is crazy. It's crazy. 80%? 57% from three? And we're not talking about no Fugazi ass 3-point like 57%. Son attempted 7 threes. 7. I mean, it's crazy. So to me, man, that was one of the greatest performances we've ever seen. And I think y'all gonna see a lot of people showing Kawhi Leonard love today. Deservingly so. Because Son was crazy. Like, the only player I can think of with that type of efficiency from the field, from the perimeter, is like Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant can do something like that. That's about it. It's like KD and Kawhi. Those are the only two players I can think of. I'm not talking about like an old KD. Somebody say you forgave him. It wasn't that I was just upset with, y'all got to remember, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. So Kobe was a warrior. Kobe would play. He would play hurt. And what I was getting fed up with is, even this season, they said, oh, we're keeping Kawhi Leonard out to ensure that when he comes back, he doesn't keep missing games. So when They told me that. The Clippers told me that. When I saw him, I was excited. But then when I saw they was still low managing, I'm like, what is going on here? So games that I would be excited to see, I would tune it on. He's not there. So how am I supposed to feel? How am I supposed to feel as a fan? I came to support you, and you're not even there. So that's what just drove me crazy. But anyway, and Kyrie Irving, and yeah, Kyrie as well. Kyrie can do that as well. But anyway, somebody said KD don't play defense. Kawhi, yeah, it's a crazy one. But anyway, guys, appreciate you guys for being a part of this live, man. Shout out to the Clippers. That was a hell of a win. I don't want to make too much of it. I'm not going to be doing no buffoonish Clippers in 5 and all. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not talking about, oh, the Clippers are going to win the champ. I'm not doing none of that. All I'm saying is let's take it game by game and series by series. Let's not get overconfident and go out there and start saying crazy stuff. Anyway, guys, y'all have a good one, and we're going to catch you on the next one, and I'm out. Peace.